Beauty has infiltrated every corner of our planet. It is a gift meant to enchant our hearts. There are places that exude a magic worthy of fantastic tales. Even that which is inaccessible to us fascinates us, from unexplored depths to mountain peaks. Today, we explore destinations that will reveal locations so wonderful it's hard to believe they exist. Iceland. Every part of this small country unveils a natural wonder. Its strange and majestic landscape is stunning, almost as if the land itself is alive. The atmosphere is mystical and hypnotic, featuring details that evoke fantasy realms, such as Snæfellsjökull, the volcano that houses the entrance to the center of the earth in Jules Verne's novel. Glaciers glide, creating breathtaking waterfalls like Gullfoss and Skogafoss. These natural wonders coexist with the threat of volcanic activity. Iceland is home to about 130 volcanoes, many of which are still active, while nearly 100 have remained dormant for centuries. The volcanic activity is due to Iceland's position on the mid-Atlantic ridge, the divergent boundary between the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates. The impressive fractures of continental drift are visible in Ingvellir National Park. One of these fissures is Silfra. Its exceptionally clear waters create the illusion of floating in a void, allowing divers to swim between two continents. Besides the mainland, Iceland has smaller islands. In these places, houses and lighthouses have been built in seemingly unimaginable locations. During the winter months, the island becomes a spectacular spot for observing the northern lights. Norwegian fjords. Norway's nature is a breathtaking spectacle, a sublime treasure offered by the earth. When human structures blend harmoniously with the natural environment, their charm is amplified. According to legend, trolls inhabit these mountains, sometimes visible to the keenest observers. Narrow, winding paths seem made for admiring the extraordinary views. Equally spectacular are the numerous fjords that adorn the country's west coast, making up some of the world's most iconic natural landscapes. Viking sagas often included them in their stories. These fjords were formed during the last ice age when glaciers advanced over the land, carving out deep U-shaped valleys. As the glaciers retreated and the climate warmed, these areas were flooded by the sea, creating the fjords we see today. Hawaii, United States. Deep valleys, waterfalls, and magnificent volcanic formations make up this archipelago, home to some of the most enchanting beaches in the world. On Kauai, the breathtaking terrain features lush green peaks contrasting vividly with the blue ocean. This is the sacred Nepali coast. The colorful island of Oahu has served as a backdrop for numerous films, with mountains and fields evoking the Cretaceous era. In Maui, the ideal setting for adventure films can be found, marked by its snow-covered mountains. Heavy rains and steep cliffs give rise to the Wailua Falls, showcasing the grandeur of nature. Swiss Alps. Majestic mountains, shimmering glaciers, and alpine meadows define this region. Summer in the Swiss Alps is a time of transition and renewal. In the lower areas, cattle return to graze in the open air. In winter, a blanket of snow covers the peaks and slopes. For world-class skiing, the Swiss Alps are unparalleled. The Bernina Express offers one of the most spectacular train journeys in the world, with a route that includes numerous bridges and tunnels, notably the famous Landwasser Viaduct, which spans a deep gorge. From the train's panoramic windows, you can see snow-covered villages and mountains. Lauterbrunnen, Switzerland. Among the Swiss Alps are many places that seem straight out of fairy tales. This charming village rests in an enchanted valley. The Lauterbrunnen Valley is surrounded by sheer rock walls, giving it an air of seclusion and serenity. It is believed that this scenery inspired Tolkien to imagine Rivendell in The Lord of the Rings. Caucasus, Georgia. This mountain range spans several countries, but Georgia stands out for its exceptional scenic beauty. The Caucasus Mountains form a natural barrier between Eastern Europe and Western Asia and have been a crossroads of cultures and the site of numerous conflicts throughout history. Considered an extension of the Himalayas, they were formed by the collision between the Arabian and Eurasian tectonic plates. In the central areas, isolated villages are accessible only by narrow and perilous paths. Ushkili, located at high altitudes near Mount Shkara, is one of the highest settlements in Europe. Due to its remote location, Its residents maintain a traditional way of life based on agriculture and livestock. In spring and summer, the landscape becomes idyllic, lush, and dotted with rivers formed by melting snow. However, winters are harsh, with heavy snowfalls occasionally isolating the village for months. Another iconic landmark of this region in Georgia is the Georgidi Trinity Church, a fusion of spirituality and nature. It stands alone on a hill facing Mount Kazbegi. Founded in the 14th century, its design reflects medieval Georgian style. The church and its surroundings are often enveloped in snow. Dolomites, Italy. Located in northern Italy, this mountain range is among the most impressive in the Italian Alps. Stunning peaks, deep valleys, and mountains that change color define the landscape. High stone towers, sharp ridges, and cliffs create an enchanting scene. Winding paths gently echo the elegance of the surrounding nature. A human marvel amidst natural wonders, the Church of Santa Maddalena stands out for its unique location, offering views of the sharp Dolomite peaks. Not far away, Lake Braze glistens with its crystal-clear waters. According to legend, at its southern end lies the entrance to the realm of Fëanor, home to the Ladinos, the original inhabitants of this alpine area. Lake Skadar National Park, Montenegro. This natural sanctuary is marked by the fusion of elements that create a unique landscape. The river winding through the mountains is the Krinica, with its intense blue and green colors derived from soil sedimentation. At the heart of the reserve is Lake Skadar, mostly situated in Montenegro and extending into Albania. It is recognized as one of the most important bird sanctuaries in Europe. Faroe Islands, Denmark. An autonomous Danish archipelago in the North Atlantic, located between Scotland, Norway, and Iceland, consisting of 18 islands. Many of these islands are remote, inhabited by only a few dozen people. The landscape is predominantly green, with vast fields, hills, and cliffs. The Faroese have a close relationship with nature, adapting to what the environment provides. Access to some villages is only by sea or through tunnels that cut through the mountains, with several remaining isolated for centuries. The climate on these islands is cool, windy, and unpredictable due to their location on North Atlantic cyclone routes. To protect against the cold and moisture, traditional houses feature grass roofs that provide insulation. Dalmatian Coast, Croatia. This geographic region stretches along the eastern coast of the Adriatic Sea and is one of the most stunning coastlines in the world. It features over 1,000 islands, many of them tiny, and numerous small coastal villages. Cities like Dubrovnik, known as the Pearl of the Adriatic, are part of this region. Dubrovnik's impressive historic center is surrounded by medieval walls. On larger islands such as Brač, you can find one of Croatia's most famous beaches. Zlatni Rat extends like a strip of sand jutting into the sea. Norway. Located within the Arctic Circle, Norway features sharp mountains that outline magnificent fjords. Narrow, deep valleys are flooded by the sea, and bridges have become an essential element of the landscape, indispensable for local life. Before their construction, the only way to connect these places was by sea. Villages like Heining, formed by small islands, focus on tourism and fishing. To this day, some homes are accessible only by boat. A notable feature is a football field surrounded by structures for drying cod. Coast of Australia. Known for its vast coastline, one of the longest in the world, Australia features the Great Barrier Reef off its northeastern coast, the largest reef system on the planet. Whitehaven Beach is a visual symphony of shapes and colors, considered the best-kept secret of the area. Its exceptionally pure sand gives it a bright color and a texture that doesn't retain heat. In southeastern Australia, Port Campbell National Park is part of the famous Great Ocean Road, where the 12 Apostles rise from the ocean. The Great Australian Bight showcases a captivating coastline, home to the Great Southern Reef, an interconnected underwater system. Beneath these waters lies a marvelous world filled with rare and beautiful species. The giant cuttlefish is a master of camouflage, with an incredible ability to change its color and texture. The common sea dragon displays the eccentricity of the underwater world, with protrusions that mimic the appearance of seaweed, allowing it to blend into the marine flora. Equally peculiar is the enigmatic leafy sea dragon, whose leafy extensions give it a frond-like appearance. During the breeding season, females transfer eggs to the males, who incubate them in a special area under their tails until they hatch. Yangshuo, China. This landscape resembles scenes depicted in traditional Chinese paintings, with karst formations rising abruptly from the water and land. Here, Chinese agricultural life is on display with rice fields, water buffalo, and traditional boats. A unique tradition involves fishing with cormorants. Fishermen train the birds to help catch fish. Once released, the cormorants swim and dive to capture their prey, which is then collected by the fishermen. Réunion Island, France. This French overseas region is located in the Indian Ocean, east of Madagascar. It features several peaks, including Piton de la Fournaise, one of the most active volcanoes in the world. The island is covered in dense tropical forests, especially in the higher elevations. Réunion experiences some of the heaviest rainfall on the planet, which, combined with its rugged terrain, creates ideal conditions for the formation of waterfalls that cascade from great heights. Alaska, United States. This is a land of wild, untamed nature. Due to its vast and often inaccessible territory, small aircraft play a crucial role in the state's life. In many remote areas, they are the only means of transportation. Alaska is home to some of the continent's highest mountains, including Denali. The landscape varies dramatically from one region to another. In the south and southeast, dense forests, lakes, and waterfalls dominate the scenery. The Gulf of Alaska is surrounded by glaciers, and the coastline is extensive and complex, with many fjords. In these waters, an impressive spectacle unfolds as whales gather, opening their enormous mouths to feed. In the north, tundra and frozen plains define the landscape. Alaska has thousands of glaciers, though only a few hundred have been named. In fact, there are more glaciers here than in the rest of the United States combined. Among its national parks, Katmai is fascinating for its high concentration of brown bears. This reserve has one of the largest populations of these mammals in the world. The best time to observe them is during the summer, especially in brooks, where they gather to fish for salmon, patiently waiting to catch them. Northern Vietnam. Far from North America, with a contrasting climate and equally beautiful landscapes, features rice terraces that create stepped patterns on the mountainsides. Some of these terraces are centuries old, maintained by the same communities through generations. Water is collected from higher sources and efficiently distributed across the steppe surfaces. The color changes with the seasons, turning greener as the rice matures, especially as you move up to the higher regions. Amazon, Ecuador. In the western Amazon basin, a tropical wonderland unfolds. Here lies Reventador, one of the most active volcanoes on the American continent, surrounded by dense jungle. Each eruption reshapes its summit, blanketing the surrounding area with ash deposits. This Amazonian region is a haven for wildlife. Due to its remote and challenging terrain, it has been minimally disturbed by humans, and if you search carefully, you can find extraordinary creatures. Hundreds of unique and beautiful animal species inhabit this area. Exploring these forests feels like traveling back in geological time. Onychophorans have existed for around 500 million years, and many insects have developed unique adaptations for survival. Camouflage is one of the most remarkable defensive mechanisms. For instance, the orris cricket blends so seamlessly with a leaf that it is almost invisible. In contrast, the poppy caterpillar has an unappealing appearance, having evolved to mimic bird droppings. Even more astonishing is the Hemeroplanes troll caterpillar, which mimics a venomous snake in both shape and movement to deter predators. Its body ends in two spots that resemble eyes, creating an illusion. Care is needed when walking as some moths are difficult to spot. Tita tamerlan resembles a dry leaf with irregular edges. But it's not just insects. The Urutal bird's feathers mimic the textures and colors of the forest environment to blend in. It adopts a rigid posture, stretching its body to blend with the tree trunk it perches on. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Also share this video. Until the next.